Okay, so we are in Deuteronomy. Here, let's do it the easy way. We're on page 228. So that's the easy way to do it. Deuteronomy 11, verse 13. Okay. It shall come about, if you listen obediently to my commandments, which I am commanding you today, to love the Lord your God, and to serve him with your heart and all your soul, that he shall give the rain for your land in its season, the early and late rain, that you may gather in your grain, and your new wine, and your oil. Now, just to be clear, what's he talking about when he says oil? We're talking about, put in your car, lubrication?
Olive.
Yeah, just making the point, because, some people, Jonathan's age, might not be thinking about that. So, I'll try to be clear on things. He will give grass in your fields for your cattle, and you will eat and be satisfied. Beware that your hearts are not deceived, and that you do not turn away and serve other gods and worship them. Or the anger of the Lord will be kindled against you, and he will shut up the heavens so that there will be no rain, and the ground will not yield its fruit, and you will perish quickly from the good land which the Lord is giving you. Again, I think Moses is just trying to make a point to him, because I think God's giving him a clue that you know how these people are. This is only going to be temporary. I'm giving it to them, and they can keep it, but they've got to keep my commandments. And he's trying to make it clear, if you want to keep this, you have to do what you're told. And that's something they're not very good at, as we know. I mean, look at how many things happened over a course of 40 years. It never seems to take long before there's another little small insurrection. So I think he's just continually trying to give them examples of the good things. Because if you've ever dealt with farming, you really want to make sure that rain is coming at the right time. If it isn't, well, you're flooding a field that you don't want flooded. You're killing a crop, or you're drying it up because there is no rain.
Hay is rotting.
Yeah. It happens. Or you're not getting any hay because there's no rain. Last year, a lot of people didn't get a second cutting. That made it tough to get hay last year. So just trying to make it clear that all of these things are very important to us. And back then, everybody was a farmer because everybody's living off the land. It's not like it is today where it's just, I won't have my garden this year. I'll go to the grocery store. It didn't work like that back then. It was your garden. That was your grocery store. That's where it all came from. So I think it's important to see the perspective of that. And, reminding them not to serve other gods, because keep in mind, they're about to go into a land. They're preparing to cross the Jordan here. So they're going to go see all kinds of evil things they're not used to seeing, new things. And, sometimes it's like with little kids. It's just something shiny over here. Ooh, what's that? And all of a sudden, people get drawn to it. And it happens a lot. It happens in this world. It still happens to people today. You see something new and shiny over here. Ooh, I got to at least see what that is. It's not always the right thing for the Christian to do. Stick with what you know. Stick with God. Okay, you shall therefore impress these words of mine on your heart and on your soul, and you shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontals on your forehead. Does anybody know what that means, frontals on your forehead?
There were little boxes that they
They would tie around their head and have words on it up there. If you think about it, remember what the priest has that on his forehead. He's got this basically engraving thing tied to his head when he's in his full priestly garb. And that's what they're talking about. You shall teach them to your sons, talking of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk along the road, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, so that your days and the days of your sons may be multiplied on your land, which the Lord swore to your fathers to give them, as long as the heavens remain upon the earth. remain above the earth. Remember, we've talked about this before. This is the second or third iteration of this now, where he's saying, you've got to talk about this in the home. You've got to talk about this to your kids. If you don't, it's going to be gone. They're not going to remember it. I mean, I look at where we are today. When you were growing up, you went to church. I'm assuming the majority of you anyway probably did. And if you went to church, what? You'd see your neighbors. You'd see everybody there. Same people used.
3 times a week.
See, there you go. But so it was a common thing. You look back to 50s and 60s, families were in church. Was that taught to their children? Apparently not, or it didn't take, one of the two, because look around. This place used to be full of people. It's not. Think about it. Think about what happened. It's because of this largely, not entirely, but if you're not telling your family, you're not talking to them about it, they're not going to get it. They're not going to follow up with it. They're not going to follow through with it.
When we get to Joshua, they said there's a whole generation that didn't know the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Because of this.
Yeah. And it is because we get complacent as people. And we think, well, everything's good. I'm not going to worry about it. Nothing worse we could do to mess up a generation than just not talk to them about Christ. Not talk to them about Yahweh. It's a horrid thing. And a lot of people now, I mean, when I was growing up, the thought of meeting somebody that didn't know who Christ was, they might not choose to believe, but they knew who Jesus was, whether they liked it or not. Of course, here I am saying this growing up in the Bible Belt, right? I mean, it's where we are. But at the same time, I've met people like that, and I meet more of them now. They're like, yeah, I know something about religion, but they don't have a real clue. Why? Parents, neighbors, family members, nobody gave it to them. And our outreach is difficult as it is, and it gets worse these days. Now I think it's harder in the country to do outreach. Well, it's not like you can go in a subdivision, walk around, and knock on doors. It doesn't work like that. I've told you all this before. I've got gates up, and believe me, they're closed most of the time. I'm not the welcoming person, okay? It's not like it used to be of, just go up and knock on the door, and everybody's good with it. Now there's the home protected by Smith and Wesson, Trespassers will be shot, survivors will be shot again,
It's like when we revised the bylaws, and I remember this. The old bylaws said pastor would visit.
Mm-hmm.
We had some people in the bylaws committee. We don't want the pastor to visit.
Yeah, and part of it's a generational difference, but at the same time, we've still got to find a way to influence people and at least keep in mind, our job as Christians is not to convert people to Christianity. Our job is to tell them and inform them. They have to make the decision. That's between them, the Holy Spirit, and God. That's got nothing to do with me. But I am supposed to educate. I am supposed to inform. And as a Christian, that's what I'm supposed to do. And that doesn't mean just by living my life as a Christian. It means to talking to people when you can. And that's something that, again, I think is being focused on here. Now, at this time, the offer wasn't open to everyone. It was only open to the Israelites. But Moses is reminding them right here, you shall teach them to your sons, talking of them when you sit in your house, when you walk along the road, when you lie down, when you rise up. This should be a constant thing, constant concept in your mind. And even Israel had trouble with this, right? Like I said, entire generation lost because they didn't talk about this stuff. So, anyway. For if you are careful to keep all this commandment which I am commanding you to do, to love the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways and hold fast to him, then the Lord will drive out all these nations from before you, and you will dispossess nations greater and mightier than you. So he also makes the point, you're not going to be doing this by yourself. These nations are mightier and stronger than you. But you're going to dispossess them. You're going to kick them out of their own land. I think that's a pretty amazing thing to say. Every place on earth which the sole of your foot treads shall be yours. Your border will be from the wilderness to Lebanon, and from the river Euphrates, as far as the western sea. No man will be able to stand before you. The Lord your God will lay the dread of you and the fear of you on all the land of which you set foot, as he has spoken to you. And that's pretty awesome to say you're not going to have any enemies. You're not going to worry about anything. What's Israel doing right now?
Fighting Iran.
Yeah. Got a war going on there. I mean, you can call it skirmishes right now, but they're going for a war. Let's be honest. I won't even begin to discuss who started what, because I think they both started it. But can you imagine knowing that your nation, you're going to be at peace? And you look at the U.S., we're always seem to be at war somewhere, or helping somebody in a war behind the scenes. Whether we say we are or not, it's a separate issue. But the point of it being, wouldn't it be nice to just go, no, we're not going to have to deal with any wars. Everybody's just going to be afraid of us. We don't have to worry about it. At one point, the U.S. was that way. That changed in recent years. But just saying that this is something Yahweh offered the Israelites and told them, hey, you're going to be in good shape. You don't have to worry about anything, as long as you follow my commandments. So I think that's awesome. I think no man will be able to stand before you. It's awesome. So I'm setting before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing, if you listen to the commandments of the Lord your God, which I am commanding you today. And the curse, if you do not listen to the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn aside from the way which I am commanding you today, by following other gods which you have not known. It shall come about when the Lord your God brings you into possession into the land where you are entering it to possess it, that you shall place the blessings on Mount Gerizim and the curse on Mount Ebal. Now, is that as plain as mud to you all, that last verse? Because it was to me. 29. I looked up through multiple commentaries, through books I had, book on Deuteronomy, actually. It was my father's. I was sitting there reading through that too, trying to get a better understanding of this. Well, the only thing I can tell you is that further on, I think in Deuteronomy like 25 or something like that, they do bring this up again and give a little bit more clarity. But not much. They just mention which tribes are going to be on which mountain. The other thing is in the Talmud, for those of you who know what that is, Jewish books. In the Talmud, they have it set up so that when you bless someone, you face one mountain. When you curse them, you face the other. Why? What is this? I've always been honest with you all. When I don't get it, I researched it because I didn't understand it when I read it. I looked for answers and I still don't understand it. I've told you what I know. If you've got more information than I do, please share with the class, because I don't. I tried and I failed on this one because I just couldn't find anything that made any sense here. So I apologize, but at the same time, if God wanted me to explain it better, He'd have made it more clear to me. So I've done what I can do. I pray for that every time before I start reading and studying the lesson. That's my prayer before I begin, is that I'll understand what He wants me to disseminate. So I'm sorry, but that's what I've got.
Well, He says we're not supposed to understand everything.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Yeah.
we understand as much as He wants us to.
Sometimes I just end up with more questions than I have answers. But that's okay, because then I can talk to God about it, and if He wants to give me the answer, He will. And if not, because I look at it this way, and I think we can all see this. You've read the Bible, you've read the same verse or chapter multiple times in your life, and you get something different out of it each time you read it. It's about where you are in life and what you're ready for. And sometimes I wonder if, this one's just not for me because it doesn't apply to me. So guys, why am I going to explain it to you when it doesn't apply to you? Let's move on. Right? All I have to do is, okay, I don't know if it doesn't apply today or if it doesn't apply, period. I just know I don't understand it, and I accept that I don't understand everything. I'm not that smart. God hasn't given me that much knowledge. But I did want to make a point of bringing that up because I know that seems confusing, and I've always disliked it when teachers and preachers skip over the hard parts and just do the easy things. It really annoys the snot out of me, if you will. Okay, continuing on in 30. Are they not across the Jordan, west of the way towards the sunset, in the land of the Canaanites, who live in the Arabah, opposite Gilgal, beside the oaks of Moreh? For you are about to cross the Jordan to go in to possess the land which the Lord your God is giving you. And you shall possess it and live in it. And you should be careful to do all the statutes and all the judgments which I am setting before you today. So, kind of interesting there. I just want to point this out because I found this interesting. In 30, beside the oaks of Moreh. Man, there's supposed to be some serious oak trees to make it notable. If that's how you know it, where it is. And when I say this, what I think of is, and maybe you all have been to cathedrals, overseas in London, England, Germany, something like that. But some of those, the pillars holding up the cathedrals are solid oak beams. And I remember about, probably 15, 20 years ago, I remember one of those cathedrals had a huge fire and destroyed a lot of the inside of it. And when that happened, obviously they wanted to repair it, right? So they were looking at it. This was one oak tree, one piece of oak that was cut and designed to support the entire block structure of this cathedral. And when they started looking at it, there isn't a large enough live oak tree left in England to even replace it. They ended up taking 4 different trees, cutting sections of them and putting that back into the original oak beam that was in the cathedral. So it just kind of gives you an impression of how big oak trees once were when man wasn't there to cut them down and make things out of them. I think of it because I like carpentry and I like woodworking, but I just think about the fact that the oaks here in Moreh must have been really cool, really huge trees. So it seems cool to me, that's all. Just wonder what it looked like back then. Okay, continuing on, chapter 12. These are the statutes and the judgments which you shall carefully observe in the land which the Lord, the God of your fathers, has given you to possess as long as you live on the earth. You shall utterly destroy all the places where the nations whom you shall dispossess serve their gods, on the high mountains and on the hills and under every green tree. Now, is there any ambiguity in what God wants them to do in that statement? I don't think so. I think it's very clear. Utterly destroy all places, everything that's dedicated to worshiping a God other than Him, destroy it completely. Let there be nothing left of it. So tell me, do they follow that?
Never do.
Mm-mm. So they're being told, go through, get rid of all this stuff, get rid of all this evil. And they're going, well, but I think that would make a really nice designer thing in the corner of my house. Well, you had things in yours that were questionable. Where they end up in the trash.
Tell them.
So in her house that she just bought, there were like demonic looking heads on the wall.
Yeah, brass ones.
Yeah. And I'm sure they were probably, I put money, we could put them on eBay or whatever, and we could sell them, and knowing this place, it was probably some good money, right? They just went in the trash. Not putting something that looks demonic back out into the world. And here's a good example of why you don't do that. I don't care that you can make money off of it. It's irrelevant. Some things you just need to get rid of. And that's what God's saying. I mean, think about what did Moses do with the golden calf? Did he just get rid of it and go, well, we could save the gold, so let's melt it down. Let's keep we'll put fire on it, and we'll get the gold out, or gold overlay off of the wood, and we'll save that. And well, maybe we could, reuse the wood for some other projects. No, what did he do? He burned it all up, smashed it into tiny pieces, and then took it and threw it into a brook or stream so that it would just be washed away and scattered. The whole thing was to get rid of it. Don't let it be around you at all. Don't put it somewhere where somebody can go after it or try to retrieve it later. Obliterate it, utterly destroy it. And that's why I'm trying to make the point of that. And I think it's relevant because some things, it doesn't matter what its value is, get rid of it. You don't need it, okay? And that's what I'm trying to go at here. And because I believe Yahweh makes it very clear in that when he's having Moses tell him this. You shall utterly destroy all the places where the nations whom you shall dispossess serve their gods on the high mountains and on the hills and under every green tree. You shall tear down their altars and smash their sacred pillars and burn their Asherim with fire. You shall cut down their engraved images and their gods and obliterate their name from the place. You shall not act like this towards the Lord your God. Well, yeah. But today we find things, and what happens in current times. First thing is somebody wants to sell it for $1 or $2. Secondly is, but it's an antique, it's got to stay, it has to still exist. Let's go on something on a larger scale. What do you think about huge temples? Let's look at the Mayans. Well, the Mayans weren't worshiping Yahweh, now were they? That's pretty clear. They were practicing human sacrifice and all kinds of things. What do? We set it up as a tourist area. We don't destroy it. Go ahead.
You can get even closer to home at the Athenian, at Parthenon.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
they were honoring the guy that did Athenian this week.
Mm-hmm.
That's idol stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The Parthenon was to show off false gods. And we built it in Nashville and recreate it. What the heck? I mean, but I'm just trying to put things in perspective. What is the nation of Israel being told to do? Utterly destroy it. Get rid of it. So that future generations don't think about it. Don't write about it. Don't be part of this. Get it away from you. But that's not what we do today. My question to you is not to be answered, but shouldn't we? Or should we be doing this? I think we should. It's not supposed to be kept around. Why? It's more likely that somebody's going to pick up on a bad habit if you leave it there. But you shall seek the Lord at the place where the Lord your God will choose from all your tribes to establish his name there for his dwelling, and there you shall come. There you shall bring your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, the contributions of your hand, your votive offerings, your freewill offerings, and the firstborn of your herd and of your flock. There also you and your households shall eat before the Lord your God, and rejoice in all the undertakings in what the Lord your God has blessed you. So, I want to be clear about part of this, because part of this was a little odd to me. He's talking about you have to go there to eat. No, he's talking about is some of these sacrifices, first fruits and all this kind of stuff, first grain and all this. You get to eat some of that, but you're to go eat it at the temple. Because if nothing else, it also meant you had a nice celebration there of what God has provided. And you interacted with each other because you were all going to the temple. Well, one of the things with us, I think Southern Baptists in particular make a point of you really do need to go to Sunday school. Why? Because this is where you can interact with each other. Even right now, if one of you had a question or something, we would discuss whatever it was. It doesn't have to be on topic all the time. It could be a religious topic of the day. We'll stop and discuss it. You all have done that before, and I think that's good. You have to have that interaction. Why do you think we have a meal together once a month? We do it in part because we get to fellowship with each other. We get to know each other better. We discuss things with each other and hopefully feel more comfortable with each other. I think that's a great thing, and I think that's part of what this was about. What God was giving them is, hey, I want you to fellowship amongst each other. And I believe that's what he's telling them. Yes, you're offering a blessing, something to me, but you're going to get something out of it too, because you're going to be able to fellowship. Why? Because think about it, the rest of the time, travel is not easy. You're all out in your own little area. But when everybody's bringing in their harvests at the same time, you're going to go in to give those first fruit offerings to God. And while you're there, hey, have a meal with the rest of it. Talk to other people. Get outside your own little world, Okay. There also, you and your house, okay. You shall not do at all what we are doing here today, every man doing whatever is right in his own eyes. For you have not yet come to the resting place and the inheritance which the Lord your God is giving you, when you cross the Jordan and live in the land which the Lord your God is giving you to inherit, and he gives you rest from all your enemies around you, so that you can live in security. Then it shall come about that the place in which the Lord your God will choose for his name to dwell, there you shall bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes and the contributions of your hand, and all the choice votive offerings which you will vow to the Lord. So he's telling a lot of this stuff preemptively, right? Because they don't have, keep in mind, they're kind of carrying their temple around, if you will, right? They're carrying all those parts, well, the Levites are anyway. They're carrying all this stuff around. They don't have any permanent structure or permanent location, right? They were watching during the day a cloud and at night fire in the sky and following it, and that's where they would set up. That's where they were supposed to be for their temple of sorts, their tabernacle. So, but he's telling them he's going to give them a permanent place. He's going to choose a spot. And he's not telling them where it is yet, which I think is kind of good, because Yahweh knows where he's going to put it, right? He knows everything. So I know he knows where he's going to put it. But he's not ready to tell them yet. And I suspect that's probably because somebody's going to be jealous somewhere, right? Because you got 12 tribes. You've already said Levites, you got nothing. Okay, you're mine. But you've got all these other tribes. Now, mind you, some of them know they're going to be across the Jordan. They're going to have to come over when they do that. They're going to have to cross over every time to go to the temple. But the rest of them is going to be a question of whose land is he going to put it in, right? And so I think at this point he's like, no, we got to make sure you all are still working together. We're not going to let you start thinking about dividing and petty things. And I think that's why he's not telling them where it's going to be at this time, just that it's going to be there. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, you and your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, and the Levite who is within your gates, since he has no portion or inheritance with you. Be careful that you do not offer your burnt offerings in every cultic place you see, but in the place where the Lord chooses, in one of your tribes, where you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do all that I command you. Because keep in mind, they're going to find all kinds of the people that inhabit the land, they had stuff set up. They had temples set up. They had altars set up. They were offering burnt offerings to their false gods. So he's warning them, don't go along and think, well, this would be really convenient. I need to do a quick burnt offering, and man, everything is set up. It's ready to go. All I got to do is Kill the animal, toss it up there, and put some wood under it. Man, the grate's there. Everything's ready to go. This would be so much easier, and I don't have to worry about where to go, and I don't have to worry about taking it to the temple that we haven't set up yet. This would be easier, right? And I'm still doing this in the spirit of worshiping Yahweh. I'm still offering the offering I'm supposed to. No, don't do it. These are not your places. These are not my places. I think is more the point for God. God's telling them, these are not my places. This is cultic. Cult, not of God. Don't use those. That's not where you're supposed to be. That goes back to the whole utterly destroy all the places, right? So all that stuff needs to go away. However, you may slaughter and eat meat within any of your gates whenever or whatever you desire, according to the blessing of the Lord your God, which he has given you. The unclean and the clean may eat of it, as of the gazelle and the deer. Only you shall not eat the blood. You are to pour it out on the ground like water. Now, the concept is blood is life. You can't live without blood. Now, you can say, well, you can't live out of the heart either. But yes, but the blood is what circulates in your body and provides everything. And that is, to God, holy. So that is something you don't put in your body. And also, you think about it, it's not really healthy to be drinking blood. It just isn't, okay? So that's something I think they're trying to make clear again here. Because a lot of the things that God tells us to do, it's because he knows it's not healthy, it's not good for you. Don't do it. So in this case, he knows blood, no, that's life force, basically. We're going to pour the blood out. Just pour it out, get rid of it. Pour it out on the ground like water. You are not allowed to eat within your gates the tithes of your grain or new wine or oil or the firstborn of your herd or flock or any of your votive offerings which you vow, or your freewill offerings or the contribution of your hand. But you shall eat them before the Lord your God in the place which the Lord your God will choose. You and your son and daughter and your male and female servants and the Levite who is within your gates, and you shall rejoice before the Lord your God in all your undertakings. So again, he's just telling them where they need to be to have this food. These are the things that they're told to offer to God. Their grain offerings, their the firstborn, all this stuff they're supposed to give to God. And so he's just telling them, you can have them, but you got to have them out here at my place. So come to my house, eat with me on these first fruits, basically, which pretty cool if you ask me. God's just inviting you up to his house to have dinner. And guess what? Since he's providing, it's going to be a smorgasbord, right? Your first fruits, everyone, you get how many new cows you got there? I got 5 new cows this year. Awesome. So you're going to have 5 new calves. Well, you're going to have a nice slaughter there. You're going to have 5 animals to eat. This is going to be pretty good. Even though they're small animals at that size, because they're slaughtering them young because they're the firstborn. They're not waiting for them to grow up and hit, I got to hit at least 1,000 pounds. No, they're just taking them in, and fine, they're smaller, but meat's also really tender. It's really good stuff. So I hear that, but I'm not seeing. Have you noticed vegetables mentioned in here yet? As I said before, vegetables are not food. Vegetables are what food eats. Sorry, that's a personal thing of mine. I'm not a big vegetable lover. I had a T-shirt that said that too. So loved it. Jonathan's got it now. So anyway, it just lets you know that they're being invited to God's house and being told that come eat with me. And again, I think that's an awesome little thing, because you can't just think of it as, or shouldn't, I don't think, just think of it as, you're having to give this to God. No, he's sharing it with you. He's saying, hey, everybody bring something and let's eat at my table. Let's eat at my place. Big party. And again, I think that was also to get them all. I mean, if you're going to a nice cookout, typically you're going to have a good time, right? You go to a nice cookout, you're going to gather around, you're going to, go around, talk to everybody. Well, it's what we typically do. I know we do in the South anyway. It's the only area I've really lived in, but you tend to go around and talk to everybody. You tend to socialize. I think that's what God wants for us. I think He wants us to get together. He wants us to talk to each other. Don't always stay in the same clique. I don't know about you all. I try to make sure when we eat together, I don't always sit at the same table. I try to sit with somebody else. I mean, sometimes I sit. Go ahead.
Nobody would sit with me last week, but Chastity didn't. I said, I reckon they didn't like me. If they didn't sit with me.
Well, some of us know you better than others, so that's that. But
I had told him about it.
see, you got too much family here that spilled secrets. That's all I can tell you, man. I can only do so much. They've known you longer. So, it's, again, I think the fellowship is important. I think that's sometimes glossed over here. And I think it's important to understand that it's not just about sacrificing to Yahweh. It's about fellowship with us, with others that are believers. I think that's very important. And like I said, I just want to bring that to light here. Okay, so hang on, let me find my spot again here. I talk for too long and I lose exactly which verse I'm on. 19. Okay, thank you. Be careful that you do not forsake the Levite as long as you live in your land. When the Lord your God extends your border as He has promised you, and you say, I will eat meat because you desire to eat meat, then you may eat meat, whatever you desire. If the place which the Lord your God chooses to put His name is too far from you, then you may slaughter of your herd and flock which the Lord has given you, and I have commanded you. And you may eat within your gates whatever you desire. Just as a gazelle or deer is eaten, so you will eat it. The unclean and the clean alike may eat of it. Only be sure not to eat the blood, for the blood is the life, and you shall not eat the life with the flesh. Basically, bleed it, drain it. That's when you talk about kosher food for the Jews. That's part of it, is making sure you bleed it correctly. You don't just bleed. You've got to have them in the right position to make sure you get every drop of blood out that you can get. I mean, my experience is, for me anyway, is taking a while. If I'm doing a deer, for instance, I put that thing up, hang it, and it's there for days before I'm ready to even start working on it, as long as the weather's cooperating, not getting too warm. I'm leaving that deer outside hanging for 2 or 3 days with a bucket under it, just trying to catch all the blood and then get it out, and I'll dump it somewhere, which is what they're telling us. When you get the blood, go dump it. So I've got those rubberized buckets, you toss under there and let it collect everything, and then I'll go in and do the slaughtering. But the idea is to get as much of that blood out of the meat as you can. And sometimes, anytime you've dealt with raw meat, you end up put it in a bag and freeze it. By the time you take it out, there's still dry blood around there, right? So I make sure that's something. I don't just toss that in the pan either. I'm like, okay, we're not supposed to drink the blood. I take it kind of seriously on that, and okay, I just take it, let the meat thaw out. Yeah, it gets a little bit more bloody. You get some more blood out of it. Then I'm going to cook the meat. I'm not pouring the blood in the pan when I'm cooking. I know people that'll do that. Just take it all straight out and straight onto the, into the pan or pot or fire or whatever. But I'm just trying to go along with this. That it's.
The grocery stores like to leave plenty in, don't they?
Oh, they pump more in at Walmart. That's their slurry or whatever they pump into that red, whatever. Yeah, red slime it pumps up the weight for one, which you're paying by the pound. So the more fluid they can get in there, the better off they are. And besides that, it's a dye if you're not aware.
I was reading in Daniel this week. I started at the beginning of the Bible, read all the way through, and start all over again. So I'm in Daniel again, and it was talking always
Mhm.
meat and wine
Yeah,
and
right.
everything. And he said, let us eat vegetables and
Right.
water. And they were so much more healthy than
Mm-hmm.
what-
Yeah, they were. They were. But it's also what are you eating? You need a balance of both.
Yeah.
What we know today, but in their case, God was taking care of them because they were following what God wanted, and this stuff, the meat wasn't prepared to their liking, if you will, to meet Jewish standards or Israel standards, if you like. So God was rewarding them for avoiding the stuff that was not up to His standards, if you will. So yeah, God was going to take care of them regardless. They could have been on bread and water and probably still looked healthier than everybody else.
And then was next, Shadrach, Meshach, and
Abednego,
He
yeah.
took care of them too.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice stuff, really, when you think through it all. Okay. Now you shall not eat it. You shall pour it out on the ground like water. You shall not eat it, so that it may be well with you and your sons after you, for you will be doing what is right in the sight of the Lord. Only the holy things which you may have in your votive offerings, you shall take and go to the place which the Lord chooses. You shall offer your burnt offerings, the flesh and the blood on the altar of the Lord your God, and the blood of your sacrifices shall be poured out on the altar of the Lord your God, and you shall eat the flesh. Be careful to listen to all these words which I command you, so that it may be well with you and your sons after you forever. Yeah, after you forever. For you will be doing what is good and right in the sight of the Lord your God. When the Lord your God cuts off before you the nations which you are going in to dispossess, and you dispossess them and dwell in their land, beware that you are not ensnared to follow them after they are destroyed before you, and that you do not inquire about their gods, saying, how do these nations serve these gods, that I may also do likewise? It seems insane, doesn't it? That you come in, hey, oh, you got a God of your, let me, I know my God's done all this for me, but what about your God? Maybe I want to switch gods. Tell me about yours. In this day and age, most, not all, religions seem to go back to, it's just, we're all one God. They lie like crazy. Even the Muslims will tell you, we believe in Jesus. They believe in a prophet named Jesus. That doesn't mean they believe in Jesus. They don't tell you, he's not Jesus of Nazareth, but no, they say we believe in Jesus. Don't be misled by people, because that's what they're trying to do. You have Mormons come to your door, used to anyway. I've had them when I lived in Smyrna show up at the door. They want to talk to you about it, but they don't want to talk about the fact that it says, do not change any or add to or take away from the Bible. I said, you got a Book of Mormon, right? Well, yes, absolutely we do, and we'll be happy to give you a copy of it right here, right now. So you want to add to the Bible? Well, it's a separate book, though. We put it somewhere else. But you're trying to add to the Word of God, right? But we all serve the same God. Well, apparently not. Because you're not following the same words. You can look at others that they altered portions of the Bible. I've seen one Bible that makes majority that he and she all goes to gender neutral. I'm like, what the heck is that? So I'm just trying to make clear that be careful what you see out there and what you listen to. And God's making it very clear here. Don't even ask about their gods. It's irrelevant. Don't ask, how do these nations serve their gods? Why would I care? I've got my own God. I don't need to know about their God. Keep that away. Get rid of it. Continuing on here. You shall not behave thus towards the Lord your God. For every abominable act which the Lord hates, they have done for their gods. For they even burn their sons and daughters in the fire to their gods. What religion would that be? Druids are the winners on that one. Druids like to take out the kids' organs and put them in, a tree, kind of like a Christmas tree, as ornaments, and then burn the tree so they can divine the future. That's what the Druids believed. That's what they did. Whatever I command you, you shall be careful to do, and you shall not add to nor take away from it.
What have we heard that back 4 times just
Mhm.
today?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that means he's serious.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's repetition. We've talked about it. That's how you learn as a child, and sometimes that's how you have to learn as an adult. Tell it to me again now, one more time. So, anyway, I think God's very clear in here through Moses that don't have anything to do with the false gods. Get rid of all that stuff, because as long as you see it out there, you're more likely to get interested in it, want to try it, see what it does, see what it is. And that's horrid. That's what he doesn't want you to do. He wants it all eradicated so that the only thing you're going to see is him. The only thing you're going to see is Yahweh. Everything else, it's gone. Gets away. It's less opportunity to sin. Monkey see, monkey do, right? So the whole idea is get all the bad monkeys out, okay? So you only see the good monkeys. That's pretty much what this comes down to. I know it's kind of a joke, but it isn't. He's made it very clear. Get rid of all this stuff.
He said you can't serve God and mammon.
Yeah, you can't. Well, you can't serve two people. Period. You know. All right. So we're going to end up stopping there because this gives us a good break. We'll pick up at chapter 13 next week. Okay. Give me a second here to stop the recording.